I had a girlfriend who really disliked her. To solve this problem, I ended up marrying her best friend.
And he just took a sip and beer fountain sprayed out of his nose onto my face.
3 in the morning, I'm sleeping, like any normal person, and she calls me, "We can't open the wine."
Why do you choose to be friends?
I'm friends with him because he knows all sorts of stories about me that even my other friends don't know. It's not that they're unpleasant, but it's just stuff you don't usually share with people. But with a friend, you can, and they won't react like, "Ew, don't tell me that." They'll laugh and even say, "Wow, you're cool. I've had something similar happen." We're comfortable and at ease together. That's what brought us really close. Probably the most.
And I think we have a huge number of topics to talk about. What really brought us closer is that we're, I believe, very open to everything. We can discuss anything, accepting each other as we are.
And not trying to change. Most relationships are built on trying to change each other.
To adjust. We're comfortable with each other because we're opposites. I'm more sarcastic, harsher, a bit unbalanced. She, on the other hand, is always positive.
I like his humor, his intelligence. Actually, I can talk to him about a lot, and I know that I'm valuable to him.
We're used to each other.
We're used to each other, yes. We know too much about each other, and I don't know anyone else who understands me as well as he does.
How do your partners feel about your friendship?
They don't understand.
They don't understand, yes. So, from my side, there's a certain jealousy from the girls. They don't believe that such a thing is possible.
It was a total disaster, really. Even though they became friends, still. Surely there must have been something between you two. It's impossible there wasn't, but it's possible that there was nothing.
I had a girlfriend who really disliked her. To solve this problem, I ended up marrying her best friend.
It's very convenient. Extremely convenient. I recommend it to everyone. 10 out of 10. Let your best friend marry your childhood friend. As for my husband, by default, my friend is in my life. So whatever husband says, obviously nothing changed. But fortunately, it turned out that they get along well. By the way, Andre officiated my wedding. Despite he's a scientist, he stood in for that intimidating lady from the registry office and blessed us.
There were phrases like, "You spend more time with your friend than with me. Why are you even going there, seeing her, and not me?" But all that was immediately shut down because I said this person will always be there. I am 100% sure about this person. No matter how I change, how she changes, how everything around changes, this person will be by my side.
When I first met a guy, I would immediately tell him about my best friend. And in a relationship that lasted almost 3 years, my boyfriend never accepted my friend. He thought I spent more time with him, which wasn't true. Every time he heard I went to the station with him for tickets, he would get upset, and he didn't really want to meet him, even though I invited him.
When he saw us together, he realized it was just friendship. Although at first, there were questions like, "Were you two ever involved? You're lying. That can't be true."
And then she saw me and didn't see me as any sort of competition, yeah?
I don't know. Maybe it's a question of society's views. Because my girlfriend is from another country, and she has no issues with it at all.
Well, in the time I've been friends with him, I've had about 3 somewhat serious relationships, and none of them cared. The most important thing in relationships is trust. If you start harassing each other with questions like, "Where have you been? Who called you?" That's not an equal relationship. That's more like a prison, basically.
Yeah, that's intense possessiveness. When people think someone belongs to them and owes them, that's absolutely unhealthy. You should remain completely free, and if your partner accepts that, it's cool.
Is friends with benefits an acceptable concept to you?
No, for me, sex is a relationship.
Okay, I don't judge, but I think people who have sex outside of relationships, without any feelings, are just people with, well, really high libido levels, or they don't have jobs because they have so much energy, or, I don't know, they're just fooling themselves.
Over time, you realize that sex is really great only when it happens in great relationships. Sex out of friendship is not normal. Friends don't
Sleep with each other. If a person isn't ready for romantic relationships and wants something, find a girl to sleep with, or a guy, without commitments. Not friendship and all that. If you're really eager, go ahead. But friends are friends. How can you sleep with friends?
Well, to me, it's friendship when you've had a relationship, and after breaking up, you continue spending time together. Then it's quite possible. But this is a different story. Find sex elsewhere.
Yeah, there's no need to mix it into the friendship. I mean, there's no particular convenience in that.
But it's more out of laziness. Like there's someone nearby, why bother?
Why would I go to bars looking for someone?
But on the other hand, say you meet someone on Tinder, for example. You sleep together once, realize you're not compatible, but the person is great, and you can be friends. I think that can work.
Yes, that's more likely how it works. When your friendship or that period of friendship doesn't end with that, but rather starts with it, and then you find out you're both cool. Then probably you can be friends afterwards. But if you start off as friends, then it's probably a bit weird to transition.
There probably are relationships where people are more relaxed about this.
Probably wrong, but there's no such thing as friends with benefits. It's not friendship.
It can be.
Sex in a more casual relationship, maybe, but not in a friendship.
Can you share a funny story related to your friendship?
There was a funny moment right after your wedding, probably on the third day, when we all arrived downtown, completely exhausted. And Tatiana, Andrei's wife, she was like a guide for her German friends. She spent a lot of time with them, showing them around. And Andrei and I came to this unfamiliar company, and some guy seriously started congratulating us on our wedding. He said, "Guys, I wasn't there, but I heard congratulations." And we were like, "No, it wasn't our wedding." Andrei, I was a guest at his future wife's place, and Andrei had sent flowers, but not to her, to me. It was just a bouquet sent to his future wife's apartment for me, and it was written like, to Tatiana, because she's a good friend. You wrote something on social media like, "I'm alone in the center on my birthday. So brother, I had to come," and so on.
So we drank beer, then went to KFC for more beer.
Burger King.
Burger King. Yeah, Burger King. And you said something funny?
I made a funny joke, and he just took a sip and beer fountain sprayed out of his nose onto my face. I think that was the peak of our closeness, really.
And, well, after that, we both started laughing. If our relationship was closer or more distant, I think it would have ended differently. 3 a.m, I'm sleeping, like any normal person, and she calls me, "We can't open the wine."
It was the first time I tried alcohol. It was just fabulous. He acted like an older brother. A friend came over. She lives in Moscow. Decided to get some wine. Took 2 bottles. Drank the first. The friend got drunk, and I'm sitting there. Okay. Decided to open the second one. Couldn't get it open. What to do? Sasha? Help. Sasha, sleepy as anything, came out, opened the bottle. Then he even turned me on my side and told me how to lie down so I wouldn't get dizzy.
What are the benefits of having such a friendship?
When there's a situation where you have questions about communicating with girls, she can give advice, can sort out the whole story, and put it on the right track. Because there were situations where her advice was very useful. She's like a spy on the other side, always gives the right hints.
Regardless of what they say about gender equality, in some social aspects, men and women are still very different. I often get asked for advice like, "Listen, here's a bit of a chat with my girl. What does she mean?" I explain obviously it's this and that. And the guys are like, "Yeah, really, I never thought of that." It's always cool when you can get an opinion from the other side. His gender never influenced me, but I'd be lying if I said I don't feel completely comfortable going to a bar with him. I mean, I don't feel any danger usually, no matter who I go with. But with Andrei, you go, and you know the evening will be comfortable. No one will approach you. No one will bother you. It's convenient, this kind of friendship. The fact that he's a guy and I'm a girl makes it convenient. For example, when I moved away from my hometown, he stayed back home. And if my mom needed help, I would just say, Sasha, please help. Sometimes it's very convenient because my friend doesn't have those girly complications. Sometimes you don't want to talk about personal relationships and stuff. With Sasha, you can just meet up and laugh about things. Basically, it's cool to be friends with a guy because, as I said, due to upbringing or something else, girls often have a certain aversion to topics like sex, unpleasant toilet jokes, etc. With him, I can always discuss these things. It's never a problem. Because for me, these topics are not taboo. I find them interesting to discuss. But for many of my girlfriends, these are topics they don't talk about.
Have you ever had feelings for each other beyond just friendship?
Yes, we often drank together and just never had anything more than that. There's a colleague of ours who asks, "Did you make out?"
We didn't make out.
We even talked about it.
We don't see each other in terms of a relationship as a guy and a girl, not at all.
It's a lifetime friendship, basically, and why ruin it with something like that? There's no romantic chemistry between us. I think it's obvious to anyone who meets us that we're more like a duo, like detectives from an American movie, driving somewhere in a car, then getting drunk in a bar, hanging out. There's never been that kind of, I don't know, romantic vibe between us.
I liked her. For a while, probably a year or a year and a half. Yes, I started to manage my affection in such a way that I got close to her. I immediately drove another person away from her desk, said that now I'm going to sit here. This is my territory. This is my girl. Goodbye to everyone. I always invited her to, say, skip school or just go for a walk. I tried to spend more time with her. It was the last grade. We were probably celebrating the aftermath of New Year's at your place, and at one point, she lay down on the bed. I was sitting next to her, and she was lying there with her eyes closed, just thinking about something. Some music was playing. There were other people in the room, and I'm sitting there thinking, if I kiss her now, maybe something will happen at this moment.
I said, get lost.
Ah, so you did tell me to get lost, so I was rejected again.
I perceived it more as some kind of playful version.
No, I had feelings. Didn't you try to check?
I didn't try to check. I don't want to check because I think it will ruin the friendship. If nothing comes of it, then you just lose that person, and then there's no going back.